shyly sucking her thumb, a clean-cut little boy with leg braces heroically smiling with hope, posters that made the possibility of getting the disease seem all the more frighteningly real to otherwise healthy children. Summers were steamy in low-lying Newark, and because the city was partially ringed by extensive wetlands, a major source of malaria back when that, too, was an unstoppable disease, there were swarms of mosquitoes to be swatted and slapped away whenever we sat on beach chairs in the alleys and driveways at night, seeking refuge out of doors from our sweltering flats, where there was nothing but a cold shower and ice water to mitigate the hellish heat. This was before the advent of home air conditioning, when a small black electric fan, set on a table to stir up a breeze indoors, offered little relief once the temperature reached the high 90s, as it did repeatedly that summer for stretches of a week or 10 days. Outdoors, people lit citronella candles and sprayed with cans of the insecticide Flit to keep at bay the mosquitoes and flies that were known to have carried malaria, yellow fever, and typhoid fever, and were believed by many, beginning with Newark's Mayor Drummond, who launched a citywide Swat the Fly campaign, to carry polio. When a fly or mosquito managed to penetrate the screens of a family's flat or fly in through an open door, the insect would be doggedly hunted down with fly swatter and Flit out of fear that by alighting with its germ-laden legs on one of the household's sleeping children, it would infect the youngster with polio. Since nobody then knew the source of the contagion, it was possible to grow suspicious of almost anything, including the bony alley cats that invaded our backyard garbage cans and the haggard stray dogs that slinked hungrily around the houses and defecated all over the sidewalk and street, and the pigeons that cooed in the gables of the houses and dirtied front stoops with their chalky droppings. In the first month of the outbreak, before it was acknowledged as an epidemic by the Board of Health, the sanitation department set about systematically to exterminate the city's huge population of alley cats, even though no one knew whether they had any more to do with polio than domesticated house cats. What people did know was that the disease was highly contagious and might be passed to the healthy by mere physical proximity to those already infected. For this reason, as the number of cases steadily mounted in the city and communal fear with it, many children in our neighborhood found themselves prohibited by their parents from using the big public pool at Olympic Park in nearby Irvington, forbidden to go to the local air-cooled movie theaters, and forbidden to take the bus downtown or to travel down neck to Wilson Avenue to see our minor league team, the Newark Bears, play baseball at Rupert Stadium. We were warned not to use public toilets or public drinking fountains or to swig a drink out of someone else's soda pop bottle or to get a chill or to play with strangers or to borrow books from the public library or to talk on a public payphone or to buy food from a street vendor or to eat until we had cleaned our hands thoroughly with soap and water. We were to wash all fruit and vegetables before we ate them, and we were to keep our distance from anyone who looked sick or complained of any of polio's telltale symptoms. Escaping the city's heat entirely and being sent off to a summer camp in the mountains or the countryside was considered a child's best protection against catching polio. So, too, was spending the summer some 60 miles away at the Jersey Shore. A family who could afford it rented a bedroom with kitchen privileges in a rooming house in Bradley Beach, a strip of sand, boardwalk, and cottages a mile long that had already been popular for several decades among North Jersey Jews. There, the mother and the children would go to the beach to breathe in the fresh, fortifying ocean air all week long and be joined on weekends and vacations by the father. Of course, cases of polio were known to crop up in summer camps, as they did in the shore's seaside towns, but because they were nothing like as numerous as those reported back in Newark, it was widely believed that whereas city surroundings, with their unclean pavements and stagnant air, facilitated contagion, settling within sight or sound of the sea or off in the country or up in the mountains afforded as good a guarantee as there was of evading the disease. So the privileged lucky ones disappeared from the city for the summer, while the rest of us remained behind to do exactly what we shouldn't, given that overexertion was suspected of being yet another possible cause of polio. We played inning after inning and game after game of softball on the baking asphalt of the school playground, running around all day in the extreme heat, drinking thirstily from the forbidden water fountain, between innings seated on a bench crushed up against one another, clutching in our laps the well-worn, grimy mitts we used out in the field to mop the sweat off our foreheads.